There's another ute for our market, and this time it's from MG. This is the new U9 Explore Pro, which is bringing some serious competition with its long equipment list and off-road capabilities. Will it make all the other dual cab utes on the market quiver in their boots, or does it still need to prove itself? Let's find out. The MG U9 debuts with a lineup of 3, and we're in the flagship Explore Pro for this review, which has a very sharp price tag of just $60,990 before on-road costs. That makes its natural competitors other affordable Chinese utes like the LDV Terron 9, which shares similar underpinnings and even some design features on the outside, as well as the GWM Cannon Alpha, both of which are slightly more affordable than this model, but I would argue that the Explore Pro's execution of its adventuring capabilities and premium features make this one better value overall. The features list is value-packed with leather accented upholstery, powered front seats with heat functions. The outboard seats in the rear are also heated, as well as the steering wheel, and the driver's side enjoys ventilation and massage functions. There's dual 12.3-inch displays, a premium JBL sound system, as well as a permanent digital rearview mirror. Our test vehicle has also been fitted with the Smart Hatch package, which adds $5,490 to the price tag. But for that, you get a folding hatch, as well as a sliding tray window, folding seats, just to lengthen the overall loading space. To me, this is a pretty neat and cool feature. At 5.5 meters long and with a bonnet that goes on for days, this wouldn't look out of place in a lineup of American ute giants. So if that beefy style is something that you like, this one's for you. The bonus though is that it's not as big as its Yankee cousins, which means you get the look without the bulk. I really love the massive LED lights at the front, as well as the chunky 20-inch alloys. This just looks pretty capable to me. The cabin is massive and definitely matches the exterior beefy looks when it comes to design, with the wide seats and center console and just over large accents. It's quite a nice cabin to be in. I also really like the gear shifter design. It kind of looks like the throttle on a jet aeroplane, and it has a really nice hand feel, which is cool. You also get a window breaker tool that's housed underneath the lid on this middle console. It's not something that you want to have to use, but it's nice to know that it's there all the same. Overall, this cabin has a really good feel to it. There's some really nice textures and soft touch points throughout. This front row offers plenty of space to get comfortable, and you never feel like you're on top of your passengers even when you have a full carload of them. I also really like how comfortable the powered front seats are. They've got long seat bases, really plush padding, and those extra seat functions. Despite the 220mm ground clearance, access is still really good in here because of the grab handles, wide side steps, and wide door apertures. The only note I'd mention is that the doors can feel quite heavy when you're parked on a slope to open. You also don't get traditional door handles in this model. You get easy access open buttons, which feels a bit over-engineered for a ute, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. There's lots of storage options up front, and it's pretty easy to keep the cabin neat and tidy because of them. I like the center console storage options the best. They're pretty clever. You've got lots of little nooks and crannies, and I love that it's got a sliding shelf in this middle console. You get a dedicated phone tray up front, which also houses the wireless charging pad, a USB-A and C port, and the only 12-volt socket in the car. The displays look really crisp, and I like that the media screen's touchscreen is responsive. It's also an easy enough system to get used to. I don't love that a lot of the features are buried in the system itself, like the seat controls, but you can customize the home screen to have the most used widgets on it, which is good. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as satellite navigation, and the Apple CarPlay was really easy to connect to and maintained a steady connection this week. Like I mentioned, you get a digital rearview mirror. And while I usually like this feature when you can toggle between the video feed and just a normal rearview mirror, You can't in this model, which poses two problems for me. One, I like to check on the back seat and see what my kid's up to occasionally, which you can't in this. And two, when it's heavily raining, if you get rain on the camera or it gets dirty, completely wipes out your vision throughout the back, which I didn't like. The rear seat has the same sense of space as the front, and because the seat's so wide and has lovely long seat bases and a flat floor, 3 adults could comfortably be in this row even on a longer journey. Access is still really good to this row. My 9-year-old had no troubles, but you will be helping in little ones. You can make use of the 2 ISOFIX and 2 top tether points back here very comfortably, and larger seats should fit. The amenities are pretty good back here with the usual storage options with deep map pockets, storage bins in each door, and 2 cup holders in this fold down armrest. You also get directional air vents, a USB-A and C port, and heat functions on those outboard seats, which my son really loves. I also love that when this back tailgate window is down, you don't get that annoying jet engine sound on the highway. So you can have it down even when you're driving at speed. And it's also a really good access point for my 9-year-old. He loves to climb through it. The tray is a good size and it has a payload capacity of 770 kilos. I also really like that you get a powered tailgate with gas struts, so it's super easy to open and close. And unique to this grade level is the inbuilt step in this tailgate. It's rated to 170 kilos, but it's just a really practical feature to have in a ute. I also love that you get a full-size spare wheel in this and a light in the tub tray. All grades of the U9 have a 4x4 drivetrain and share the same 2.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, which produces up to 160 kilowatts of power and 520 newton-meters of torque. This supports a brake towing capacity of 3.5 tons, so it's in line with the big boys, which is good. It also has an 8-speed automatic transmission, low gearing, rear and front diff locks, as well as multiple terrain modes. So there should be something to please four-wheel drive enthusiasts here. However, it does have relatively low ground clearance and a wading depth for the segment. The Explore Pro has an official combined fuel cycle usage figure of 7.9 litres per 100 kilometres. And with its 80 litre fuel tank, you should see a theoretical driving range of up to 1,012 kilometres, which is pretty good. My real world usage figure is up on your screen now, and that's after doing the usual grocery and school runs plus one longer trip. So it is a little bit thirstier than I expected, especially considering that I'm not hauling any serious cargo and haven't done this week either, but it's not terrible. This has decent power delivery and minimal lag when accelerating from a full stop. You can get a little bit of slippage underneath the tires if you're a little bit too hasty with the accelerator, but otherwise you feel like you get a real deep well of power to dip into when you need it for overtaking, and that makes it really easy to keep up your speed on hills. This handles really well, surprisingly well, with steering that feels very well balanced. It's not too heavy, not too light, and that makes it pretty responsive. The suspension is also softer than what I would have expected. Doesn't mean that it's floaty. You still get really decent road feedback in this, which I think is important when you're in a big car, and handles well in corners, not much roll. For a diesel, the cabin is exceptionally quiet. Noise can creep in a little bit when you're at higher speeds, but not enough to intrude on any chatting in the cabin. Overall, it's a very refined on-road driving experience, not one that you would expect for a ute. The visibility is a little bit mixed though. I really love the commanding position up front and how much you can see out front. The wide windows are also good, but this B-pillar is super thick, and I don't love that you get a permanent digital rearview mirror. As I mentioned earlier, it can wipe out your vision if there gets a spot of rain or dirt on it. I would have preferred a proper mirror in that sense. This is really long at 5.5 meters in length, and with the 13.3 meter turning circle, it can get pretty funny trying to do a car park that small, especially if you're hitting ramps. You do have to be a little bit choosy with where you park this, just because you've got so much overhang in the rear, and I did find it safer and easier to back into a space. But I love how clear the 360-degree view camera system is in this, and much needed for a vehicle of this size. The U9 has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from testing done in 2024, but it is based on the overseas Maxus e-Terron 9 model, which is an electric ute. This does have 7 airbags, which includes a front center airbag and side curtain airbags that cover both rows, which is really good to see on a family ute. While this does have lots of safety features and it's really good to see, some of them are really annoyingly intrusive to everyday driving, and in fact takes away from the pleasure of the driving when they're on. You get lots of sound alerts and physical warnings through the steering wheel with the lane keeping aid, traffic sign recognition, and the driver monitoring system. You can select and customize a driver profile, which will automatically turn off those features, well, some of them at least, but you have to activate it every single time you drive, which again is a little bit annoying. But the full safety specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The U9 is covered by a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, but it can extend to 7 years or up to 200,000 kilometre term if you service with MG directly. There is a cap price servicing program for 5 years, and the total servicing costs cost $2,395, which is pretty reasonable for the segment. Servicing is well spaced at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. Well, the new MG U9 Explore Pro has certainly surprised my family this week. It's not without its quirks, and some of the safety tech is super annoying, but outside of that, it is a very solid and practical family ute that offers great features and is still relatively affordable. I like this one a lot, and that's why it gets a score that's on your screen now. But if you're after more details, check out the full written review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you on the next one.